talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your beautiful, fabulous Wednesday? That means hump day. We here at the Tom Gulley Show hope, as always, that you're receiving the full, total, and complete amount of hump that you so desperately crave and you so rightfully deserve. Let me tell you about USA Up All Night. We're going to get to it. Maybe maybe we'll have a special guest star named after a woodland creature later on. I don't know. It could happen. Let's get to some of your comments, but before that, we're going to just ask you to please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those very free things you can do. Don't cost you a cent, that help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful algorithm. And, of course, we love it when you take advantage of super chats and memberships. They help us pay the bills around here. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes, all that good kind of stuff. And then if you look at the scroll at the bottom of the thing here that I just put up, the begging banner, where I beg you for things, it'll tell you how to turn on your gifted memberships. And very generous philanthropic people around here will gift you, out of the goodness of their heart, a membership to the Tom Gulley Show, which gets you access to all that exclusive members-only content that I'm way too scared to put on the internet as in general. Terrified, as a matter of fact. All right, Doopadoo is with us here tonight. We always love it when she's here. Hello, Mr. Gulley. Thank you so much for being here. This song is so fun. Glad you like it. I love it. The new opening, hand-edited by me with these very hands. Took me almost an hour. Stanley Cross is here. Stan the Man. He's on at the Urban Landlord here on YouTube. And Stanley versus the World. It usually starts around 2 or 3. Well, that'd be 3 or 4 in the morning, East Coast time. Highly recommend that. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. Stanley says, "Damn, Tom, excellent opening." Well, thank you. I'm glad somebody finally said something. Let's see here. Thanks, Stanley. Stanley says, "This is effing stunning." You know, I did used to be the editorial director of a major television network. Yeah, the Wolf is here. I'm going to go through the whole outline of this topic today, and then I'm calling the Wolf, because if anybody knows USA Up All Night, and he's the one that suggested the topic, it's the Wolf. We'll talk about it quite a bit. I think that's Wolf. Yes, that's Wolf. That's Wolf. Metal Maiden Vicky is here. You can hear her every Saturday at SonicAsylumRadio.com from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like metal, if you like music, if you like the best band interviews that happen in the world, you're going to want to check out Metal Maiden Vicky. And Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria. People saying hi, people saying hi, people saying hi. The Wolf says that popcorn looks good. Corn, yes. Back when the Wolf and I were in college, I had a popcorn popper. It was one of the kind that it had a big dome thing that you use as the bowl. And I would make corn like crazy and haul it down to the Wolf's room. Yeah, we called it corn. We just said, "You making corn?" Yeah, I don't know. We were crazy kids back then. People saying hi. Yes, it does look good. Coach Mike Rodick is here again. Hello to all my friends in chat. Oh, hey, Tom. And people saying hi, and people saying hi. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. Let me get my things coming here. I've got so many photos, so many images for today's show. Here's just an example. We're going to talk about USA Up All Night. Look at that. Look at that. Now, if you don't remember USA Up All Night, it's because you just weren't watching cable television from 89 to 98 on the USA Network. It was weekly. It was on Friday and Saturday nights. And throughout the run, those two people on the screen right there, that on the left is the lovely and talented Rhonda Shear. And, of course, on the right is the late, great Gilbert Gottfried. There was another lady who hosted very briefly named Carolyn Schlitt. And by the way, it's taken all of my broadcast skills to pronounce that correctly, or they'd close the place down. Carolyn Schlitt. But really, we all remember Gilbert and Rhonda, and both of them were incredible. Now, this particular show consisted mostly of low-budget films. Please keep in mind that this show lasted anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, very late on Friday and Saturday nights. In between those movies, right, were comedy skits and sometimes kind of criticisms of the movies that would be put on with special guest stars and all sorts of other crazy stuff. There was really no boundary for this show in between the movies themselves. Now, the movies, they showed a lot of cult classics and B movies and other things that you really couldn't see anywhere else unless you went and rented a video. And even the videos to rent for these movies weren't always readily available. And they also showed a lot of what we called sexploitation movies, yes. Fear not, though, they would cut out all the explicit content or mosaic over the good parts. You know what I'm saying. So the series began on January 7th, 1989, with comic Gilbert Gottfried hosting on Saturdays from New York City. In the very first show, Gilbert was seen in an empty office building in Manhattan, and the first two films that ever showed on USA Up All Night were, yes, Cheerleaders Beach Party and Stuck on You. So as you can see, Academy Award-winning dramas everyone was glad to see. Halfway through the first season, a Friday night show broadcast from Los Angeles was hosted by actress-comedian Carolyn Schlitt, who had been on a show called Camp Midnight, but that show didn't last very long. She left the program very shortly thereafter, in December of 1990, and that's when comedian and B-movie actress Rhonda Shear, and man, I couldn't find any public domain photos of her, which is a shame because she's gorgeous. Now she has a line of lingerie and women's clothing that she runs, and it looks like pretty nice stuff to me. What do I know? I don't wear that stuff, but it looks pretty good. Anyway, she replaced her on Fridays beginning on January 4th, 1991. In 1995, the Rhonda Shear edition moved to New York City, which was the same place Gilbert did it, and it stayed there for the remainder of the series, which lasted until 1998. So this thing ran for, 9 solid years, 10 seasons. Originally, the show aired at 11 p.m. on Saturdays, and you'd have two movies. They'd show two movies during the 4 to 6 hours that they were on the air. And sometimes that was followed by a repeat of the two movies. When the Friday night edition started in mid-1989, it was 3 different movies, and the third movie would be completely unhosted. And they would just be narrated, sort of. So it'd be Gilbert going, USA Up All Night returns you now to Cheerleader Beach Party, or whatever. There was no on-camera element. The Friday show originally began at midnight, ran till 6 a.m., and then pretty soon the shows had the very same time. And that's all it was. There were some changes in the last 3 years. Let's not even talk about it. Now, occasionally, the show would do special episodes. I'm assuming this photo comes from one of them, where Rhonda Shear and Gilbert Gottfried would host together. So, there you go. You're asking, how does a show this great get canceled? Well, I'll tell you how. 1998, USA came under new management of this guy, Barry Diller, and he wanted a more general and upscale viewership. Looks like a real jerk to me. That meant many of USA's long-running series were overhauled or canceled, and USA Up All Night ended up being that way. The network relieved them of their hosting duties, and they would start reruns of mainstream films that were for broader audiences. And by 2002, the Up All Night name, music, and graphics were gone. But from December of 1988 to February of 1998, a grand total of over 900 episodes of USA Up All Night were shot. How about that? By the way, in 1993, for about a year, Rhonda Shear actually hosted a Spanish version of USA Up All Night. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. I gotta I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to play the opening of the show real fast again for those of you who haven't seen it. And also because there's something going on in front of my house right now that's just got me completely intrigued. So here you go.
Talking about, we're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we're talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Sorry about that, folks, but sometimes, it's always right when you don't want it to be where this stuff happens and things and stuff and other whatever. I'm going to get to some of your comments here, but I'm also going to show you some of the movies that actually aired. There's so many of them. There's actually like a spreadsheet that I went to. It is so voluminous. I could read the whole thing and we couldn't even get it done during this show. I'm going to tell you right now, it just wouldn't, you know what I'm saying. When I'm saying what I'm saying. But why during the show? Always. Nothing happens until, anyway. Let's see. People saying hi. My popcorn popper from the late 80s still works. Mine does too. The hardest part of it, Dupa, I think, is that you have to, over a period of years, that dome, which was at one point clean and translucent, there's no amount of scrubbing. The inside has just been pelted with too much hot oil. It's just, there's a haze. But I used to get like back when there were paper bags. I used to fill up a huge paper bag, and we would all eat corn there in the Wolf's palatial lair. Okay, dorm room. People saying hi. The lovely and talented coach says, when I was younger, we got our corn from a mason jar or a ball fruit jar for you Indiana folks. Not just a ball jar, because, Ball State University. That's the Ball brothers of the Ball jars are the ones that gave the money to establish what at the time was called Ball State Teachers College. Yeah. Those guys, the same guys. I think it was the Indiana Teachers. It was several other things before. It's a long story. In 1965, I think it was Ball State College. And then I think in 70 or 71 or 69, it became Ball State University. Anyway, Metal Maiden Vicky says, "Ooh, I forgot Gilbert died." He did. Oh, here we go. We've got the Wolf. The Wolf says, "Just for showing that corn, staple of the North." Yes, thanks for the $2, Wolf. I appreciate it. At least we got a super chat tonight. That's more than we can say for the last few weeks or whatever. I don't know. People saying hi. People saying hi. Most cheerful chat room on the internet. It's verified by independent sources. By the way, I'm showing you Assault of the Killer Bimbos. Yes. Bimbos Away. This is a classic type of movie that would be on USA Up All Night. Metal Maiden Vicky says, "I saw Gilbert perform once. So very funny. My favorite comedian, Bobby Collins, opened up for Gilbert." Bobby Collins. Not familiar with Bobby Collins, but there's a lot of East Coast comics that are big out there that nobody knows about in the rest of the world. Vicky, wow, what a show that must have been. It really was. I laughed my tress off all night. Chef is in the house. We love it when Chef's in the house. Thanks for being here, Chef. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. Doc says, "People saying hi to Wolf, Metal Maiden, Vicky, Coach Dupa, Stanley, and our wonderful host, Tom." Thanks for being here, Doc. Our resident Cajun. Our Cajun extraordinaire. People saying hi. Good to see you. People saying hi. People saying hi. Coach Mike says, "Did I ever mention I used to haul into the Ball glass plant?" I'll have to tell you about it sometime. Well, you know what? I should just write down right here. I've got another sheet of great stuff that we're going to do shows about. And I just wrote down ball jars. We'll do one on the actual ball jars. Chef saying hi to folks, and people saying hi. How you doing? All right, let's get through some of these movies, and then I'll see if I can get our very special guest star on the horn. This was one that used to be quite a cult film. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to take this banner off. You guys know there's super chats and memberships, right? I mean, I know you're aware of it, but benignly aware of it. Anyway, this one used to be one that was quite popular, and that is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, that was a staple of USA Up All Night. They showed it a lot. Basket Case, what another great sort of cult movie. Basket Case, the dude whose twin was malformed and they kept him in a basket and he would kill people and stuff. There were a lot of Lloyd Kaufman movies. A lot of Lloyd Kaufman movies. And all of this stuff involving nuclear stuff, you know, nuke this, nuke that. Class of Nukem High was a Lloyd Kaufman film. Troma Films was the name of the film company. A lot of those on USA Up All Night. Here's another great one. Any fan of the band, and maybe Metal Maiden Vicky is, of the band The Dickies will remember Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Wow, that was on USA Up All Night all the time. I'm telling you, all the time. This one is one that my sister Kelly kind of impressed me on. This is a William Shatner movie that he's talked about many times, being down on his luck and living like in the back of his station wagon. He was on tough times when he did Kingdom of the Spiders. And my sister Kelly, who always surprises me with the information that I didn't know she knew, she actually knew that in Kingdom of the Spiders, they used real tarantulas. And to keep them from biting the people in the movies, they had fake tarantulas too, don't get me wrong. But they would put them in a freezer, like a walk-in freezer though, not like a frozen solid freezer. And that made them very lethargic. They couldn't move and stuff. So Kingdom of the Spiders. I mentioned Lloyd Kaufman and Troma Films. I've met Lloyd Kaufman. I think anybody that worked in independent film, I used to write for an independent film magazine called Film Threat, doing a bunch of crazy stuff with those people. Well, you just by definition have to meet Lloyd Kaufman of Troma Films, excuse me. So The Toxic Avenger was a biggie. That was a biggie. Here's a couple more just to sort of round things out. The Pink Chiquitas, which is a favorite of mine. There were so many sexploitation movies that the premise of the movies, one of them that they did not show on Up All Night, but that the Wolf and I like, is Invasion of the Bee Girls. And basically the premise of a lot of these movies was that women had been affected by a meteor that made them irresistibly attracted to men and engage in activities that were so salacious, so titillating, and so over-the-top sexy that the men would die. Okay. It's not much of a plot, but by God, it's good box office. They also had, and the reason I'm showing 976 Evil 2 is because there were so many remakes and sequels that they showed on USA Up All Night. It's not even funny. Like, they wouldn't show the good version, but they would show you versions 2, 3, and 4 in the drop of the hat. Here's another one called The Arena. And this involved women having to, scantily clad women having to battle each other to the death, which of course is just great for USA Up All Night. These I thought I had Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death here somewhere. I guess I didn't load that one. But Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. If you want to see an early Bill Maher, that's one of them. Let's get through some more of your comments. Let's see. Yes, a show about ball jars. I'll do it. Let me pick the most salacious of the movie. I think this is it. This is probably the most salacious of them. Yeah, I'll just leave that up there. Who cares? Yes, Doc, we'll be doing a show about ball jars. Doc, I thought of you, was it last night? It was the night before last. I had boudin. I still have some boudin here. And I was eating it with a fork and a knife. And then at one point I just said, forget it. And started just eating it with my hands like an animal. Metalman Vicky says, I first saw Bobby Collins in the 80s on Ronnie Dangerfield's Young Comedian Show. I've seen Bobby live several times. Met him 3 times. Hilarious individual. People saying hi. Dupa says, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh, yeah. Giant tomatoes killing people. It's a lab. The professor that starts, it's a thing. And that sometimes would show at midnight movies, when midnight movies used to be a thing. And I probably should do a show on midnight movies. Let me write this down. Midnight movies were a thing. I know the Wolf and I would go to the Muncie Theater and we'd see, Reefer Madness and Rocky Horror and Flesh Gordon and those kind of things. People saying hi. Doc says, Super Chats, membership stickers. You can even call in with a good joke. You're darn right you can. Metal Man Vicky said, Killer Clowns. Those are such classic movies. The Dickies, I think, do the song Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I have the best of the Dickies. I think it's on there. Dupa says, the ending of Kingdom of the Spiders freaked me out when I was a child. Well, no spoilers, but it freaks everybody out, man. It's like, let's just put it this way. It's one of those movies that you think that it's over and they've survived and everything's cool. It turns out it's way worse than they ever thought. What job does Kelly know? What job does Kelly? Oh, what kind of job does Kelly have? Well, I believe she's the senior lecturer in psychology at a major university. Yes, yes. And by the way, my sister Kelly is so cool. She reposts the shows when she's listening to one and thinks it's pretty good. She reposts it on her Facebook page, which is that's a sister now. That's a good sister. Dupa says, metal, classic B movies are so fun. They are so fun. And there's a couple of guys actually that post these 1.5, 2 hour long. They're called Grindhouse movie trailers from the 60s and 70s. And Grindhouse is sort of a broad term, but it's really a term for these movie theaters in New York City that are open 24 hours a day. So you can walk in there, and as long as you can stay after you pay your entrance, and they're cheap to get into, I don't think they probably have them anymore, but you could go in there and just stay there and just keep watching movies nonstop. And the problem being that most of, not all, but most of the movies were these very low budget, crazy kinds of movies. So, Grindhouse movie trailers from the 60s and 70s. I watch them all the time. They're addictive. There used to be a movie distribution company. They were on VHS, and they were really good VHS because they were frame for frame transfers. They weren't just someone playing the movie. They were frame at a time transfers for very high quality VHS by a company called Something Weird Video, which recently has just started to shut down. They are distributing all their titles through various other ways to get them, but not all of them. They had so many titles, and they've eventually switched to DVD. They would have just nothing but trailers that are really, really crazy. Mike Vraney. I want to mention the guy's name. Mike Vraney was a guy that housed all these. He found all these by various directors and producers and saved them, rescued them. He tragically died much too early in the 90s. I knew Mike Vraney. I didn't know him well, but had spoken to him on several occasions. It was a great guy. Great guy. Something Weird Video. Sad to see it go, but they've just kind of, I believe it's his widow, has just transferred all that stuff to various streaming and downloading. And I think they do sell a number of titles still on DVD and that sort of thing. But anyway, Jay Bizzle is here from the Pod Awful Called. How you doing, Jay Bizzle? Good to see you, H2BH, my man. Metal Maiden Vicky says, agreed. People saying hi. I already covered what kind of job my sister has. Dupa says, the library scene of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the meat mention of the word tomato is sufficient. Yet the mere mention of the word tomato is sufficient to induce panic. Grindhouse, giggity, giggity. LOL there. Mere mention. Yes, mere mention. I know. Mere. I figured it out. I got hip to the rhythm. I did eventually get hip to the rhythm of the thing.
And now USA Up All Night presents Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Gilbert was great on that. And we'll cover Night Flight maybe, and we'll also cover Commander USA's groovy movies. USA was really, I'm telling you what, the USA that we know today was nothing like when it first started. Now, there were stuff out there like TBS and other networks, but even they were trying stuff. But nothing was like USA. USA was just, they were throwing it up there and seeing what stuck. And they really did a great job with USA Up All Night. It was early in the cable experience. It was coming off of Night Flight, which was not hosted, but showed a lot of the same kinds of things. Night Flight was a little different than USA in that they would show short little snippets of a lot of things and then a movie. But they didn't necessarily show a whole movie all the time. So Night Flight was pretty cool, I always thought. But what did I know? I'm just a guy that slept on his hair wrong before he started the show. I didn't get cleaned up. I didn't shave today because I knew I was doing Up All Night. Up All Night, the Wolf, we'll talk about it here hopefully in a second. The Up All Night thing, if you were, when I was, basically I was living my life at a time when you didn't go to sleep on the weekends. I've always been an insomniac. So Up All Night was great because there were so few things on worth watching at that time of day. I mean, very few. There just weren't. You could try and watch MTV. You could try and watch a lot of stuff. But a lot of those stations, especially early in the run of USA Up All Night, they just shut down. They weren't on. They'd have infomercials or whatever. Yes, Night Flight was really good. Night Flight, both of these shows showed things that were counterculture. They were cult. They were off the beaten path. They were hard to find anywhere else, frankly. Melmain Vicky says, yes, USA was awesome when it first premiered. It really was. It was really, really awesome. And it had to be because even TBS, you take something like TBS. TBS was a station. It wasn't a network. It was a station out of Atlanta that already had the Andy Griffith Show, and it already showed movies and stuff. It wasn't doing anything new. It might have been on cable, but it wasn't really even a network at the time. TNT was a long way from showing up. And so a lot of the things that were on, there weren't that many networks made for cable that weren't specific to a genre. CNN, people that like news. ESPN, people that like sports. USA was out there for everybody, and there really wasn't a blueprint for that. USA would also show comedy specials. They would also show sports. They were doing anything they could to stay alive. Melanie and Vicky said, I just looked up recent pictures of Rhonda Shear, and she still looks great. And I can't believe she's 70. She does look great. And let's just say a little bit about Rhonda Shear. She was like the thinking man's Elvira. You know, Elvira was her own thing and was spectacular. Don't get me wrong. She's a LinkedIn connection, so I better be nice. But Rhonda Shear was so effervescent. She obviously was very attractive. She sometimes would have other gals with her, friends of hers, whatever. And she was just funny and smart and cool. She was the perfect person to have on for that show. And, you know, she became a favorite really quickly, as did Gilbert. She has a lingerie company. Yes, she does. Yes, she has a lingerie company now. And she does pretty well with it, it looks like. And it's very professionally done. It looks really good. Well, let me just go ahead. I had it up here a second ago. I'll go ahead and do you a solid real fast here. Come on, you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, computer. All right, here we go. Come on. Yeah. Rhonda Shear, born in Nolens. She was born in Nolens. Her spouse is named Van Fagan. Been married since 2001. Well done. By the way, the list. She's in like 20 movies. Quadroon, JD's Revenge, Galaxina, Basic Training, Spaceballs, The Rollerblade 7, Legend of the Rollerblade 7. She's in Return to Frogtown. One of my favorite movies is Return to Frogtown. We covered it when I did the show on Roddy Piper. Assault of the Party Nerds 2, The Heavy Petting Detective, Earth Minus Zero, Don't Quit Your Day Job, The Fanatics, Prison A Go-Go. And television, man, oh man, she was a dancer on a lot of things in like 1970. The $1.98 Beauty Show, The Love Experts, The Gong Show, Happy Days, The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo, Bob Hope Special, Dance Fever, Young and the Restless, Dallas Chips, Heart to Heart, Fall Guy, The A-Team, Three's Company, Dukes of Hazzard, The New Mike Hammer, Cheers, The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Hot Seat with Wally George. Oh boy, Wally George. Full House, Married with Children, USA Up All Night, of course, Dr. Larry King Live, Maury Povich, Joan Rivers, Sally Jesse Raphael, Rick D Show, Silk Stockings, WrestleMania, Richard Bay, Geraldo, Howard Stern guest, Duckman, Judge Judy, Pictionary, Unhappily. She was on a lot of stuff. Now, sometimes on those shows, she was the hot chick, but she was the hot chick that could do comedy. She was very good at comedy. She married her childhood sweetheart, Van Fagan, who's her business partner in Shear Enterprises. Let me get her official website up here for you. Let me show you this official website real quickly. I don't think she'd mind a little promo for the official website, would she? I don't think so. No, she wouldn't mind that bit. Let me just get this going for you here real fast. We're going to share that. There we are. There's the official website right there. Let me get rid of this. Say goodbye to that banner. There you are. There's her official website. And she's got stuff for ladies to wear. There you go. And look at this. Did you know that almost 80% of women do not know their correct bra size? That is such a problem. I was telling a girl this on the Pod Awful Cults Discord a few weeks ago, and she refused to believe me. And I said, okay, but yours isn't fitting right, and there's a reason for that, and I'm not feeling bad for you. So anyway, she's got a you can get up to 25% off. By the way, there's some blog postings here about self-care and comfort and style. And We the Women, 80% of her employees are women. 94% of the total retail partners are women-owned. And 99% of the customers are women. So there you are. So Rhonda Shear, well done. Not just a pretty face. Businesswoman as well. And I'm glad to see that. Because I loves me some Up All Night. And therefore I like the thing about the stuff where they continue their success. Okay, Doc says, I have a condition that keeps me up and hungry. It's called insomnomnomniac. It's insomnomnomniac. Is that it? I thought she was adorable, very cosmetic. Just the way she would say the name of the show with the emphasis on up all night. Yes. Dupa says, that was so silly, I laughed. My great nephew will like that joke. So she was born on a bayou. Yeah, she was. Well, I never said I make jokes. You do make good jokes. The $1.98 Beauty Show. Yeah, that was a precursor to the Gong Show. I think Chuck Barris may have hosted that too. Miss Louisiana of 1975. Host was Rip Taylor, right? Yeah, maybe that is right. Maybe Barris produced it. I don't remember. I'm just, it's late. You made me laugh, so that's all that matters. Very cool. Thanks for sharing your lingerie website. Anything I can do. Not for nothing. When ordering bras online, they always order larger than you think you should. Well, that's probably good advice from a lady. I personally prefer that you order a size too small. That's just me. Let's see if we can get a very special guest star that knows almost everything about USA Up All Night, that actually has requested the topic. He's known to you, one and all. He's a fan favorite. He's athletic. He has quick feet. Cords of muscle.
Hello.
He's quite pugnacious, but he's a real stick of dynamite. Hey, who am I speaking with?
Hello.
Yes, who am I speaking with?
There's Joe Kopp and Tom Costin, finer guys you never will know. Joe's got Buicks, Tom's got Fords, price below what they either ought to go.
Nobody. But nobody.
The favorite one for him is, let's see, how did that go? If you can buy new or used Buick for less and you can hear it. And then it was Bob Catterson.
Well, yeah, and then he sold it. He sold it to Dave Mason, but he
Dave
was Bob.
Mason.
He was Bob Catterson. Yeah.
That one was for Bob Catterson, and when if you can buy a new or used Buick for less than you can hear it, Bob Catterson, buy it. That was the commercial.
Nobody will sell you a new or used Cadillac for less than Bob Catterson Buick. Nobody. And you know, he did those commercials for a whole bunch of other car dealers across the country.
Yeah, we could only, because you were basically in Indianapolis,
Yeah.
you probably saw more of those. We would just get a couple of them.
Well,
And
we saw, not only did I see a lot more of them, I saw Bob Catterson all the time. You'd be out at some crappy restaurant and he'd stroll in there. He had the personality of a rock. And when he sold it to Dave Mason, because it was right there on Keystone, man. It was Keystone. It was Meridian, sorry. It was on Meridian. And it was like, I'd say 49th or so in Meridian. It was right across from this restaurant. And he you go on into Dave Mason to get the lowest prices possible on a newer used Buick. Why? Because old Dave needs the money. That's why. But anyways, so Up All Night. You've always been an insomniac. Is that why you're a big Up All Night fan?
well, yes. I watched that, and I keep trying to remember if they split that up into Weird being on Saturday.
It was
So at one point, it was 100% Weird, and they would show. The reason I was watching the 5,000 Hands of Mr. T was because part of the little kid in it. It was a perv musical.
Yeah.
With Hans Conried, and surprisingly enough, one of the dancers was that Chikaris that was in West Side Story.
George
The one
Chikaris.
that played he played Fredo, but in the play in Europe, he played the other guy.
Yeah, George Chikaris
It
was
was
like
weird.
a TV star and stuff. You know, he never. I think he was maybe a replacement on Route 66, but he never really had his own show. And then he was like a guest star all the time.
I watched the movie he was in where he played a vampire, White Blood or something, last night.
Wow. So, did you have any favorite movies that were on Up All Night that I didn't mention?
The 5,000 Hands of Mr. T.
I thought it was Dr.
like
T.
Well, it was Dr. T.
Oh, you're just having
Dr.
some fun.
Twilliger.
Yes. Yes.
I started looking up people in that. I was surprised to see him in there after winning an Oscar for West Side Story, and then he had like a Golden Globe. I think he had a bunch of awards.
Who? Tommy Rettig?
No, the guy I was talking about, Chikaris.
Oh, George
The dancer.
Chikaris. Yeah, George Chikaris. Yeah.
He was one of the dancers in that film, and I was trying to figure out which one he was, and it doesn't really. When I looked it up, it didn't really tell you which of the dancers he was.
Good
In fact,
God,
it didn't even show that
he's
as being
still
a threat.
alive. He's still alive. He's
You bet.
92. He was in Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Let's get his filmography
Yeah, he was.
here, real quick. Here, he was in
With the Dirty
5,000.
Girl. He
Yes.
was in a film with the Dirty Girl. In
He
fact,
was-
two, I think.
He was in Brigadoon, Meet Me in Las Vegas, West Side Story. He was Bernardo in West Side Story. Dime.
In the film, yeah, in the play, he was the other guy.
He was in
Riff or whatever his name was.
He was in Diamond Head, which was a big like Charlton Heston movie, and James Darren. That was a big movie at the time, and he then started having to do TV, Carol Burnett Show, Jackie Gleason, Medical Center, Hawaii Five-0, Partridge Family, Thriller, Fantasy Island, Chips. You know when you had to do Fantasy Island, if you used to do a movie star, that was a good sign your movie career was over. Chips, Matt Houston.
Well, he claimed that he was under contract, so they misused him. His saying was, he said that they misused him in a lot of movies. The vampire movie, he said, I knew it was bad, so I've never seen it. And he was right, of course.
There's a lot of movie stars that have never seen certain of their movies. I think Nicholson is a guy that's like a lot of his movies he's never seen, but tons more TV stars, because movie stars normally have to go to a premiere. Television, those people, they're like, no, I've never seen that. I don't watch them. Let's see. I believe she drives Gomez. No, a Buick. Major storm coming in. Got to go, buddy. Say goodnight, Gracie, to everyone. Good night, Gracie. Good night, Chef. Good to see you. Always good to see you, Chef. But so do you like the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T? There's a lot of movies I saw on that.
They had not just the Killer Tomatoes, but Killer Tomatoes 2.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a list of like every episode that they had on there, and it's been 2 movies. Body Double, Las Vegas Weekend, Phoenix Warrior, American Drive-In.
Okay, let me just I can show you this. It's embarrassing to me that I even know this exists, but I am gonna show it. What the hell? I'm trying to pull up this.
Return of the Killer Tomatoes was on with the Malibu Bikini Shop.
Okay, here, let me just show the studio audience. Let me just show something here, because this is. I got to share the screen here real fast. This is, someone has compiled a list of all of the episodes of USA Up All Night and the movies that they showed. Okay, so now keep in mind that on this list, I'm going to make this thing the whole size of the screen rather than...
It's virtually every rock exploitation movie.
Yeah, every racksploitation movie. Okay, so on this list, you have to keep in mind the first 3 columns are the movies that they showed. Now, sometimes that third movie was a repeat, but a lot of times it wasn't. And look how many pages there are. There are so many movies that they showed on USA Up All Night. It's hard to keep track of them. I was a guy that was always into, movies. I was into cult movies and out of the way movies and the Herschel Gordon Lewis trilogy with Blood Feast and certainly stuff like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Basket Case. So when I saw these on television, I was freaking out. I was like, I can't believe they're showing this,
Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead on the same night.
Yeah. They would show anything, but they showed a lot. Mars Needs Women. They would show a lot of
with Tony. Is that the one with Tony Kirk?
Might be. I don't know. I can't remember. But they would.
Where he zaps the dog and it turns to bones.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Teenagers from Outer Space, that kind of stuff. They would just show crazy. there used to be a guide, and I think now it's online
Tommy Kirk.
Tommy Kirk, yeah, from the Disney films. I think there used to be, and it might be online now. It was called the Psychotronic Film Guide. And it was psychotronic just meant it was sexploitation, crazy science fiction, just the weirdest stuff that you could ever make a movie about. And that's what that guide was for. And they would show lots of stuff from the Psychotronic Film Guide. I mean, a ton. And Chef, yes, we hope that you stay safe during that whole thing. Virgo is here from the Urban Landlord channel. Hello, Virgo. And so,
Hello, Virgo.
You know, there was tons of stuff like that on there. So there's no other pervish. Like, I agree with you. They did show a lot of, they wouldn't necessarily show the first movie, but they had no problem at all showing Meatballs 4 or whatever it was.
Porky's 2.
Yes. Yeah, they would show Porky's and Porky's 2, or they would just show number 2 or number 3 or whatever else it is. They were great about that.
There were so many movies. It's been so many years since I've watched. I think. Did you know that Rhonda was a Playboy girl?
Yes. Did you know that Porky's was produced by the Simon brothers of Indianapolis? Mel Simon and Herb Simon. Well, their business was in Indianapolis. They own the Pacers.
Sweet Sugar.
Black
Racksploitation.
What was the one with Angie Dickinson? Something Mama. What was that Angie Dickinson movie?
Big Bad Mama.
Yeah, Big Bad Mama. They would show that. They showed all sorts of stuff like that. Metal Mean Vicky says, "Hot lived the Porky's movies, Goonies." Yeah. They would show a lot of the spring break movies. Remember when spring break movies were a thing, where it was just some crazy
Pom this and Beach that.
Yeah, Hard Bodies. Remember that movie? They'd show that.
That was a good one. Hot Summer in Barefoot County.
Hard Bodies was about a guy, a kid, like he's 20 or something. And he hung out at the beach all the time and didn't have really a job, and his girlfriend kicked him out. And these sort of rich older guys came down to try and, have some fun at this condo on spring break. And he started teaching them how to talk to girls and throwing huge parties at their house. And that was the plot of Hard Bodies.
Oh, they had some doozies.
Yeah.
Barbarian Queen sounds like...
oh, no, that was...
Sybil.
Yeah.
Was that Sybil Danning?
No, that was the lady that Phil Spector shot, was Barbarian Queen.
Oh, heavens.
That was working as a hostess. She'd fallen on hard times and was working as a hostess at the Hard Rock Cafe. And Lana Clarkson, that's who that was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Lana Clarkson. But I believe she was Barbarian Queen. Pretty sure she was, because she was in Barbarian Queen 2. And she was also in, this is one they showed. Amazon Women on the Moon. And they also showed truck stop waitresses, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. The swinging cheerleaders was with cannibal women in the avocado jungle, which is the one that had
Adrienne Barbeau and Shannon Tweed and Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the titles alone of a lot of them. Well, Assault of the Killer Bimbos, all these movies about
School for Sex with the Pink Chiquitas.
Well, yes, the Pink Chiquitas is one of my favorites. I love the Pink Chiquitas because it stars Frank Stallone. Stars Sylvester Stallone's brother. The Herod Experiment. You know that movie? They would show it on Up All Night. Remember?
I've probably seen just about everything on here.
Yeah, the Herod Experiment was big because it was supposed to be like a real, serious movie. And it was based on a novel and stuff, but it was about like this college where students take this course where they're encouraged to explore their sexuality in an open and honest environment. And they all start swapping, and the professor's wife is involved, and it's just so stupid. I think is it called Absolute Summer? I can't remember. Oh, Corvette Summer. Remember that movie?
Corvette Summer, yeah.
You remember Absolute Summer?
Was that Mark Hamill in Corvette Summer?
Yes, and Annie Potts also, who's like currently right now, she's the grandmother on that, the guy that was on The Big Bang. They have a second show about him as a kid, and she's the grandmother in that, but she's been in a million things. I mean, she's been in...
Well, here they showed Sweet Sugar 2 nights in a row. Lust for Freedom, along with Sweet Sugar, and then Sweet Sugar with Meatballs 3.
Yeah, they always would show the fourth... Oh, and they showed a lot of those Ernest... Vernon... Hey, Vern, Ernest goes to the... Oh, the comedy that I'm thinking of, and by God...
Jim Varney. Wasn't Jim Varney from Indianapolis?
I don't think so. Maybe. There was a movie called Almost Summer. There was a lot of coming-of-age movies. And Almost Summer is about a guy who moves into a new school district, and, because nobody knows him, some of the dudes at the school get him to run for class president against this girl they don't like. And it's actually a really good movie. Now, there's another movie called California Dreamin'. Remember that one? There was a lot of TNA in that movie. That was the kid from Breaking Away, Dennis Christopher, as a guy that just goes out to California and starts getting jobs on the beach. Jim Varney, it says here, is from Lexington, Kentucky. So,
well, I was close.
Now we don't care too much for them Kentuckians in Indiana. You know that.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of my family and my dad was born there, so.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Goonies. I don't think they ever showed the Goonies. Were a little too. That was a little too upscale for USA Up All Night, man. Oh, Funky Bronco.
There's a lot of stuff where people are going to California. Summer school teachers.
Yes.
Those chicks that went out to California to teach at some high school.
Yeah.
And
Young Sheldon is the name of the show I'm thinking.
Mark.
Ernest Evil.
Vampires on Bikini Beach. Have you seen that one?
Yes. E-Villain Ernest Goes to Jail. And now another spinoff with her as Meemaw. Julian Caesar's here. He says, hi, Tom and Wolf. Hi, everybody else. Let's see here. George and Mandy's first marriage. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Wolf.
Reform school girls escape from bad girls' dormitory.
Caged Heat and Reform School Girls on the same night. A couple of Roger Corman movies. Funky Bronco says that sexploitation movies usually inflict impure thoughts. Well, sorry, Funky Bronco, the guy that shows here drunk out of his mind every single night. I'm sorry if some of the films we watched back then aren't living up to your very high standards of decorum. Is this Wolfie on the phone? Why don't you tell me, guy that begs for him to be on the show every single day? You should know his voice by heart by now, champ.
Now, here's one that you don't expect to hear. Caddyshack.
Yeah, they did at a certain point. See, when Barry Diller came in, they started showing more mainstream movies. And that's when, and they did occasionally have some like legitimate movies on there, but normally not. Normally,
The Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
The Heretic, yes, with the bugs. A lot of bugs in that one.
The Locust. Asmodeus. The name's Asmodeus, kid. I bet you didn't see that on there.
I did not. But they would show things
it's
like
never been on there.
Zot. Zots. That was the name of it. Zots. It was this god that would appear every time. This guy would turn into this superhuman god every time he said the word Zots or somebody said the word Zot. It was the dumbest movie ever. What was the one with... Zapped. Zapped with Scott Baio. Willie Ames and Heather Thomas. Funky Bronco, Isn't USA Tonight a Sven Gulley ripoff? First of all, Sven Gulley sucks. Sucks hard, sucks all the time. Secondly, no, if anything, Sven Gulley is a USA Up All Night ripoff. Okay, Funky Bronco,
no question about it.
You're just disqualifying yourself intellectually more and more with every chat. Did they ever do Throw Mama from the Train? Love Danny DeVito. Might watch this weekend. I don't think they ever did that one.
No.
Well, by the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. Doesn't cost you a penny. I really need to grow this show. We've actually shrank a couple subscribers this week, which I'm not very pleased about. And so anything you can do, post it on your social media. Wolf was kind enough to do that yesterday. And, we do have super chats and memberships. Just saying. A little something for the effort. And then lastly, I took the begging banner off. But turn on your gifted memberships if you know how. If you don't worry about it. Nobody's gifting any, so no great loss. Look at this. The Sven Gulley Show.
Maybe if you showed Sweet Sugar as much as they showed it.
Yeah, Sweet Sugar. They really liked Sweet Sugar, didn't they? Sven Gulley Show is the exact same. Yeah. Was it? I guess if you're drunk, zapped. If you're drunk, Funky Bronco, every show is Sven Gulley. Sven Gulley is so
Alien High.
Oh, how about
Alien High? What a great film that was.
Hey, and a movie with like a exploitation title that was a good movie was Massacre at Central High. I can't find that anywhere. And it's really good. Can't find it anywhere. Sven Gulley is more horror related, right? Yes, it's 100% horror related. And Funky Bronco doesn't know what he's talking about. Sven Gulley is still on MeTV on Saturdays. Unwatchable. And we grew up, the Wolf and I, with Sammy Terry, which is an acquired taste. You just like it because you grew up with it, kind of thing. But Sven Gulley is awful.
The deal with Sammy Terry is that he was real super campy, but the films were great. I mean,
Exactly.
There's one of those that I can't even find. I can't find it.
What is it?
Remember I told you I've been looking forever for the film where the guy infuses ventriloquist like sized dolls with life to go do his bidding. And he wants these people killed. And they have conversations with each other, whispering with their hands next to their faces so that you can't really hear. And they're all dressed up, and
I know
open the door. They'll climb on each other's shoulders and open the door.
I know that movie.
It was on late night on WTTV Channel 4, and I saw it once, and this was in the 60s when I saw it.
Well, I know the movie you're talking about. It's Sleepless in Seattle. Anyway, Metal Maiden Vicky says, remember that movie Student Bodies? Yes, I almost downloaded the Student Bodies poster for this. Wonder if Up All Night. I think it did. And then remember Chopping Mall? It had that like robot supposed to be guarding the mall thing that would kill people. Terry Nee. Oh my gosh, a $2 donation. Thank you. Spending Limits, my incredible charity due to piddling. Thank you, Terry. Terry, what's a good poster to put up for Terry? Does he want good-looking chicks or... let's see here.
How about chopper chicks in Zombie Town along with Surf Nazis Must Die?
Hey, you wanna hear something? I actually have the DVD of Surf Nazis Must Die. I actually have that.
A lot of this stuff from USA Up All Night you can see on YouTube. A lot of it.
Yeah. Well, they weren't going for the heavy licensing fees. So Terry Nee says Spring Limits. Terry, there you go. Instead of getting the point, I'm putting up the arena because it has scantily clad women. I'm doing that just for you. And Terry Nee has gifted one Tom Gulley Show membership. I would love to know who got that membership if anybody's watching on YouTube. Metal Maiden Vicky said, aired the movie I forgot to add. Yeah, there's some really... Yeesh. Why is Sven Goli on TV if it's so bad? Well, Funky Bronco, it's real simple. What else is he going to do? Who else is going to hire him? He probably does it for nothing. It looks like he does it in his apartment. He's awful. Sven Goli is terrible. Of all the late night monster hosts, he's the worst by a million miles. Evelyn's laughing. Funky Bronco says, I am not a Sven Guli fan. Sounds like you are to me. Just asking. You haven't dropped it yet. Maybe Sven Guli will produce a low-run, handcrafted IPA for you. All right. Metal Maid Vicky says, Virgo got the free membership. Yes, Terry Nee, you rock. You rock. Terry gifted another one. He was trying for Metal Maiden Vicky, which apparently maybe Scott LaRock got that one. I don't know who got the second one. I don't watch on YouTube. I, like the rest of the viewing public, do not watch this show on YouTube. Just like everybody. I just want to be like everybody else. Yeah, there were a lot of perv movies on USA Up All Night.
Friday the 13th, they have a bunch of those that they showed.
Yeah.
That was 92. What the heck? Oh, I was probably working.
Well, and
that was on overnight.
You could see those. You could get those at the video store and stuff. I mean, I like the movies when they showed them that you couldn't see them anywhere else. Yes, Scott LaRock.
Well, I was taping them with my VCR. Probably one of the tapes that got tossed that I haven't seen.
Terry Nee, I got to tell you, brother, you're doing God's work here. The Pink Chiquitas, and now that you're here, let's just talk about it for a second. Birthday in 2-ish months, Boomer. Yeah, 2 weeks after yours, Dad. Terry's 2 weeks older than me. Funky deserves a membership. You really do. Raquel Darien was never in perv movies. Yes, she was. That's all she did. That's all she did. Yeah, Terry turns older than me 2 weeks before I do. So, like, there were so many movies, and I'm showing one of them here right now, the Pink Chiquitas. There were so many movies on USA Up All Night that had meteor comes into town, turns all the women into nymphos, and that's how they kill men, is with the physical act of love. And you and I both enjoy Invasion of the Bee Women.
Did you ever see, along with Invasion of the Bee Girls, the other funny one that I got that, I have that tape somewhere over here where I can, well, no, I can't get to it now. It's about, what was that called? Oh, 69 something, but it's about the aliens come to, it's like Sweden or someplace, and they're having an Olympic skiing event, and they think it's the French ski team, and these women have come to Earth to get samples of you know what, and it's hilarious, and it's one of those partially nudie films that you would see back in those days in the early 70s, and it's hilarious.
Terry Nee's looking forward to his 50s. Forward? Metal Main Vicky says, thanks, Terry. I don't think YouTube allows me to have memberships because my YouTube channel is an entertainment music channel. I think that's the deal. Well, it's... you can't turn on your gifted memberships. There's a rule. If you have what they call a brand channel, which I do as well, the Tom Gulley Show is a brand channel, you can't turn on gifted memberships. You can't get a membership gifted. You can purchase one, but you can't. It's stupid. Yeah,
I can't do it either. And I'm trying to figure out how I became a brand. My channels became brand channels because I don't have anything to do with music, but
it's real simple. You start with one channel. That's your channel. Anything you create after that is by definition a brand channel, even if it's just a backup or whatever else it is. Doesn't really have anything to do with entertainment or any of that other stuff. So it's just dumbness. They should want as many people to be getting a free membership as possible, because that they just make more money that way. But far be it for me to hold a gun to the head of a major corporation and tell them how to. You know what happened to me today? My electric company, for some reason, makes me renew my plan every year. Like, well, it's time to sign a new contract. It's time to sign a new contract, and I'm like, contract? I don't have a contract with you. I can cancel it there's no contract. I just pick a plan, and you should keep me on that plan until I die. And so I got a call about it, and they left a message so fast I didn't even hear what they were telling me. So anytime I get a call from my electric company, I'm like, well, I better see what this is. Am I going to have a service outage? Did I forget to pay the bill? Which is impossible. I never forget to pay the bill. And I called up there, and this guy's like, well, your contract runs out in November, so we were just going to give you a chance to update. Oh, a chance! You're affording me a chance to update my contract. Well, that's good news, because I was sitting here thinking, this poor person on the phone, I was sitting there, you know what I really want from the electric company? I want to pay my bill, and when I flip my light switch, I want the electricity to come on. That's it. I know you spend a lot of time thinking about my plan and me renewing it. I don't spend any time thinking that at all. None. Zero. And why do I have to renew it? Everywhere else in the world that I've ever had electric with, I just sign up for it and I pay for it. They don't tap me on the shoulder once a year and go, time for a new plan, sign up. Why would you do that? It's stupid. Anyway, it makes no sense. Terry Nee says, raging boomer. Funky Bronco says, tell your electric to sniff me finger.
Didn't we have this discussion before? We're not boomers. That was in the 50s, okay? Right after the war, the boom.
There's a lot of contention over when all that ends and starts. And I I never remember when I was young going, well, you know, those greatest generation people. We didn't refer to age demographics by a name. It just never happened. It would be that guy's older or something. We didn't have, well, you're a boomer, you're Gen X, you're a millennial, who cares? There's no definitive date for any of that stuff. It's not like being, you know, I think
they started this in the 80s or something where they thought you had to every generation had to have a moniker.
Baby boomers.
Boomers were like were after they're talking about the boom when everybody came home and business started cranking up and all that crap. That was the late 40s and the 50s. My brother is a boomer. He was born in 58. I'm not.
Well,
I was born in 61.
Well, the other thing about it is baby boom was an event that happened demographically in the United States. It wasn't, here's how we can classify all these people. It's silly. Julian Zeter says, I had a brand channel. I went to switch account, made another channel, then transferred the brand stuff to that one. I forget the details, but it's easy. Didn't lose subscribers that way. Well, I'm not that bright. Let me see here. Metal Main Vicky says, yell at the electric company saying, hey, you guys. Let's see. Terry Nee says, 63, 64 above is boomers. No, Terry, I know that a lot of people draw the line there, but the truth of it is there's like 4. You can find as many designations as you want for that. There's none of them are official. Some people stop it in 60. Some people stop it in 1955. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
I've never seen anything previously that said a boomer was past 60.
And
it was the 50s.
This one here, Dupa says boomers are born between 1946 and 1964. Sorry, boomers. I've seen it at 60. You're a boomer, chef. Chef? Did you mean chief? I think he might be talking to me. If it walks like a boomer, talks like a boomer, quacks like a boomer, it's a boomer. Let me see. I've had my own website since 1998. I'm a digital media expert, an advertising expert every day on the most advanced platforms in the world. I have a streaming show. You're watching it now. A podcast. Boomer. Okay. Whatever. I believe that's right, Dupa. Let's see. Gen X here, says Metal Maiden Vicky. Let me see something here.
I belong to no generation. I fit into no group and belong to no fraternity of any kind.
Well, let me see here. I transcend all demographic classifications. I always have. That's always the way it's been. Oh, here's one. Investopedia. Generation X was born between... Oh, the boomers end in the mid-1960s. You know, it's just this. I can find a million different designations for this. And who cares? Who cares if you're the youngest boomer or the oldest Gen Xer? It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't. Am I going to get more Social Security? Or, who really cares? The years 46 to 64 define the boomer generation. Well, in that instance, I'm not a boomer. There's another one here that says it ends in 63. There's another one here that says it ends in 60. You can just make it up. It doesn't matter. Absolutely doesn't matter. It's like being the littlest giant. You know, it's...
Are you a lunatic or not? That's the key.
I will not be filed, processed. What is it? I can't remember anymore.
Information. You'll not get any information by hook or by crook. We will.
I'll get it. Julian Zeter says Terry Nee laying waste to the equanimity of the chat room. Yeah, Terry Nee's been in here in 2 minutes. He's been super generous. He's gifted memberships. He's made a super chat, and then he's just caused chaos. He's like a human hand grenade. Let me
He's
see here.
small, but he's a real stick of dynamite.
Oh, he's pugnacious, but he's a real stick of dynamite.
Pleased as pie on the surface, but very pugnacious underneath.
I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. People are laughing. Let's see. Dupa says, if I was
Who's number one? You are number 6. You are number 7. Where the one where they're trying to convince him that he's like number 12 or something.
Yeah. And then he turns out to be number 1 the whole time. If I was a boomer, I wouldn't want to be in any classification either. If I was Gen Z, I wouldn't want to be in these dumb classifications. They're the dumbest thing in the. You're going to classify the entire population that was born in a certain period that, completely obfuscates any sort of individuality that people actually have. It'd make more sense to break it up by income or intellect or anything else. Dupa says, exactly. Who cares? People are laughing at Juliet. It is pretty funny. Melanie Vicky says, exactly, Tom. We are all part of the human race. People love to divide things. They really do. Terry Nee says, if you have AOL, you're a boomer. If you still have AOL, I tend to agree with that. Actually, if you still have AOL, you're an idiot.
Well, I never had AOL, so I don't know where
Lots of rage within. Yes, lots. I have the rage of a 20-year-old. There, I run rings around you logically. I was on AOL in '94, I think, because that was the first good way to be on the internet, the first fast way to be on it. Julian says, listening to the beginning of that song, "The Prisoner" from Iron Maiden, they used that sound clip. I'm glad they can, because if I do, they'll shut the place down. Melanie Vicky says, I have AOL, but not a boomer. I'm at the end of Gen X. Well, some people still have the AOL emails. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just an email address. Doopadoo says, Terry is the best bird on YouTube. He is a damn fine bird. I'll give him that. Yes, Vincent Price. Julian, yes. Let's see. I'm an idiot then, says Melanie Vicky. Terry Nee says, Melanie Vicky, ever see Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Boomer. Oh, really? Which one? Which one? The Kevin McCarthy one or the Donald Sutherland
like 4
one?
or 5 of them.
Yeah. I'm an idiot then. And when people say boomer, that's actually a compliment. It's like, if you're a boomer, you went from a rotary phone to a cell phone. You went from a manual typewriter to a computer keyboard. You've seen some changes, Daddy-O. You went from network broadcast television to on-demand streaming. You know what I mean? Terry Nee says Sutherland, the best. Yeah, that's the one with Brooke Adams, who's actually married to Tony Shalhoub now. Melanie Vicky says, I have 3 emails.
Lord.
One is still AOL. I got rid of my AOL ones a long time ago. I was a community leader on AOL. All those live chat rooms and message board type things, I was one of the moderators for those. And I got free AOL. And people are going, free AOL. What's the big deal with that? Well, let me tell you what the big deal of that is. AOL used to come over a phone line, your actual phone, not high speed this or that you paid for. You just paid your phone bill and you could be on AOL. But AOL charged you $9.99 for 10 hours. And then it was like $2.99 an hour after that. So you could really get into trouble because everything was slow. You know, it wasn't fast. And
I was even a rebel there. I had web TV.
Well, so my whole thing is that I didn't have to pay any of that. So I got to just use it. It took 15 minutes to download a 300K picture and stuff.
It did take forever for stuff.
Let's see here. Julian Caesar says, Tom just said Daddy-O, boomer. I use all sorts of colorful language because I've got that Riz. Oh, wait a minute. I just said Riz. I guess I'm Gen X now. I'm the portrait of Dorian Gray. I'm the portrait of Dorian Gray. Look at me. I look young, but I'm actually old. Julian Caesar says, I'm still trying to cancel AOL. Boomers lived in the pinnacle of historical wealth and comfort. No, we didn't. That was
I wonder what he considers comfort.
Yeah. Well, technically he is right. Boomers did. I didn't, but boomers did. Metalman Vicky says, those chat rooms were nuts. Yes, AOL has been free for a long time. Terry Nee says, or at least 1962 and on. Terry Nee will do anything to make me a boomer. Just keeps playing with the years, moved it back a year. Metalman Vicky says, I used to co-admin an MSN group, though. Those were in. Remember GeoCities? My contact is AOL. Metalman Vicky says, Gen X doesn't say Rizzoli. Those are the younger ones. I know. That's what I said, Gen Z. I'm Gen Z because I got that Riz. I mog you. Bars.
It started me thinking about
That's bar.
pirating HBO.
Oh, yeah.
When we moved off campus into what I call the icebox, were you ever over at my house?
Once.
No, probably not.
No, once. You mean where you live with Pfister and those guys?
No.
Oh, then I probably wasn't.
That was the summer cottage. The icebox is where I was living with Ludek and some construction guy and Lloyd Shute, who was supposed to be one of the best hockey players in the country, but because of pot, he had a scholarship to Michigan for hockey and got bounced because he was a pothead. It was just super cold in there, and we had these gigantic electric heaters that if you turned them on for 3 minutes, the electric bill was $90. So I said, screw that. I pulled the oven door down and put a fan in front of it and blew it out throughout the house. So it'd be like 90 within 10 or 15 minutes. But it was always cold in the winter, so I called it the ice box. We had every stereotype that you could come up with for a student's home. The bar, the couch that we'd gotten from this gigantic couch-long bar, the couch that we got, all the stereotyped giant empty spool for cable.
It's a coffee table.
I even got one of those barriers, one of those flashing ones that was painted.
Like
I even got
horse.
one of those for our house. And
everybody
I
had
said,
this.
now we're living. We have every stereotype that you could imagine for a student living off campus, all from yard sales. From the yard sale capital of the world, Muncie, Indiana.
Everybody had one of those spools. That was just. Vicky's younger than I am, so I shouldn't speak for her. Gen X. Let's see here. Terry Nee says that off-campus housing, I've climbed a telephone pole to remove traps for paid cable. Yeah.
Yep.
If you could do when you knew where the cable, if you knew where the cable box was, and if they were dumb enough to put it on like a place where you could reach it on the ground, you just went and clipped the thing.
This was a regular telephone pole, and you had to have those spikes that you strapped on, but I used a log chain, that chain that I always had forever. And I put it around my waist like a belt, and I shimmied my way up to where the box was with the plugs that were covering up the terminal.
Shimmied.
And broke one of those off.
Shimmied, did you?
I shimmied up it. locked myself on with my Secret Service lock and my 3/4 log chain, and hung there and broke off the nipple and put our plug up on it, and we had free cable for the entire time we were there.
Coach Mike says high-speed internet used to be nobody picking up the phone when you were trying to connect. Metal Maiden Vicky says it's approaching a major age this year, and I'm not happy about it. Well, it doesn't get any better, so you should be happy. Julian Caesar says age is just a number, a big number. Well, I think I told you about the place I moved into that they forgot to turn the cable off for the people that...
Yeah.
And so I hooked my TV up, and I just for the heck of it, I turned it on, and it's like, oh, cable, look here. And it was just after they quit using those boxes when it just could run out of the wall. And so I had a billion channels of free cable. And I lived at that place for so long. It was like 3, maybe 4 years later that the cable went out. It was just a service outage. It wasn't like they had figured it out or anything like that. And I'm on the phone, like, you are caller number 7. They tell you what you are in line, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, maybe I ought to get my account. And then it struck me, oh, you aren't paying for this. It's kind of stupid for you to call and complain about the... It's a really bad idea for you to call up and complain about the... So I hung up, and it came on a day or two later.
I had free cable here for 13 years because we lived on the 5th floor, and these guys were notoriously... I knew they were notoriously, lazy. So when the other people moved out, they didn't want to go all the way down there to turn it off and then, do all that stuff. Because I think they had to go down 2 or 3 floors from where the stairs met the apartments. And they were too lazy to do it. So I figured it was on, and I was right. And of course, I didn't say anything about it.
Metal Main Vicky says, I'm always and will be young at heart. Same here. I too had web TV. Wolf says Coach Mike. Metal Main Vicky says, once you lose your inner child is when you become old. That's right. That is right. That's why I'm so immature. Doopa says, some days I feel like I'm young at heart. Other days I feel immature. I totally agree. It is important not to lose your inner child. All those things are important. Another thing that's important is don't play huge amounts of sports in your teens and 20s. Because, for the Wolf and myself, probably the last 15 years, it when you get up in the morning. You're very aware.
It's been a joy. Come on, it's been a joy.
It's just been, it's glory days without asking for it. It's like you get up and your knees going, remember when you slid tackled that guy in that indoor game? Yeah, I do now. After
the last one I made a comment about, they were saying 50 is the new 40. And I went on there and I said, 50 is the new 50.
Yeah. Terry Nee says,
there is no new 40.
After 2 years at my present home, I called to complain about missing my trash. They didn't pick up his trash, apparently. He said, turns out I should not have called. I hadn't paid for 2 years.
And it's not cheap.
No, it's never cheap. I was at another place and it was when they still had the box. Remember when you had to switch the box from like A to B? It was like there's the A tier and the B tier, and you had to physically move the thing. Well, the cable that I got for free only was on one of the tiers. And again, I'd had it for so long, I forgot. And I'm on the phone getting ready to go, hey, what's the deal? Oh, wait a minute. I'm not paying for this. Sorry. And I've also...
When HBO had the box, I used the credit card method.
You remember when they used to scroll... Well, they used to
You
scramble
stick that card in the front and get free cable.
Yeah. Well,
They figured that one out though eventually.
They used to also scramble the pay channels,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they would be. You could see like 2.5 seconds of it. It would be good enough that you could see, and then it would do all the lines and everything else.
Yeah.
We had a guy that was like an electronics whiz that lived in our apartment complex, and he sold this little thing that you put in the cable before it went into your TV, and it straightened that out like you can imagine. He'd sell it to you for $20.
I had one of those too.
Julian Zezer says, remember all the people in bars that put satellite dishes, the huge ones on their roof to try to get free broadcast? I do. And I also remember, and I'm wondering when this changed. I remember that, I want to say, Wolf, that it was when we were in college that they did get like basic cable in the dorms.
I can still get it on my tube TV.
Well, but basic cable in the dorm was just in the lounge. You couldn't get it in your room. They have to be.
Yeah,
there has to have been a time when you could get cable in your room. Now, of course, now they don't have to worry about it because now they just sell the streaming internet, into the rooms. But at a certain point, you had to be able to get that in the room. Now, I had a really good antenna on my television, and of course Fred Flintstone had a color TV, and so we got really good reception because we were on the outside wall. Even though we faced the north, we could still get some stuff, but a lot of people couldn't even hardly get any signal. And then when I moved off campus, I got everything. It was not a problem, but that was always an issue. Was, can I even pick up the damn signal? I mean, I thought the Ed Sullivan Show looked like the back of my dad's rear end for a good 5 years because he had to tune in the TV at the start of it every time. Let's see. Terry Nee says, I still have a direct TV disc on my home. I need to remove it. Some people still get satellite, especially out in the hinterlands where they can't run cable. Like when I was living in Utah, a lot of people still had dish satellite. A lot of people. Most people wised up and just got the high-speed fiber optic, and, they don't worry about it. But pretty soon, they're not going to have cable TV. It's just all going to be over your computer or over, and you buy that particular network and you don't even get to choose a plan. Now I
wonder what they're going to do for Northern California because they're all still on DSL. All of it.
Well, I have antennas on all my TVs. And I get like 70 stations on it in perfect HD digital quality. So, and that's where you get, and if you want to talk about boomers, that's where you get all of the old movie channels and the old TV channels, Antenna TV, Me TV, Cozy TV, Boomer TV, Terry Nee says, soon we'll have Dirt TV. Starlink for the win. Starlink for the win. Anyway, well, I'm going to get out of here. Got anything else? Hey, did you like...
Yeah, I got to get going.
Did you like Rhonda Shear? Did you like her? Was she okay?
Well, she had too much stuff on her face for me. I'm not a heavy makeup. Well, of course... that's because she was on TV.
Right. But
I saw pictures of her without that stuff, and she looked okay.
Did you think she was
a good... I would ever ask her out, but...
Did you think she was a good host, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who did the weird thing, though, because they had their own little theme song is da 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 weird, da 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 weird, 100% weird, and they would show one of the characters. She was working the computer system for this system that Dr. Terwilliger had set up in his office, controlling everything, and it had levers on it. And they would show, when she pulled the levers down, they would show that picture forwards and backwards, just continuously showing her going up and down with those levers. And she had a dress on that had sequins on it, but it was, one of the arms was purposely not there. So it had one arm on it in the dress. And they showed her in that dress, and she had these weird-looking glasses on that she wore throughout the movie.
100% weird.
And they showed that over and over again.
100% weird was on TNT.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
You had TNT, TBS, and USA, and I mix them all together because I watched all of them.
It was on at the same time, though. So those were all overnight shows where they would show, axe murder movies and all that stuff. So anyway,
well, remember, I always had more than one TV running.
Of course, and the stereo. Anyway, hey man, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Goodbye, Daddy. Goodbye, Daddy.
You mean,
Help me! Help me!
I can't even do it now because my voice is jacked up from
me.
me working out my back.
Goodbye, Daddy. Goodbye, Daddy.
I'd like a bush baby.
Bush baby?
Yeah. Goodbye, Daddy. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. That's the wolf. God. He's always been a freak. Let's see. Julian Zito says, thanks, Tom, Wolf, Chatterati, and Lurkers. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things you can do to help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. We really need to try and grow this sucker, man. I just need some, let's just start basic. Subscribers. Can we get some subscribers? We were cooking along, moving right along, and it seems like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And then all of a sudden, boom, not even 100. It's like we had been getting over 100, sometimes into the 300s, and things. I'm like, okay, we're getting the momentum. We're going here. We're going, and then, wow, I don't know what happened here recently, but man, oh man, yeah. Anyway, and super chats, memberships, yay, and turn on your gifted memberships and all that. Middleman Vicky says, cable TV and internet got way too expensive with all the streaming sites I have and Verizon Internet. All of that is still cheaper than what I was paying the cable company. It really is. It really is. Same here, MMV. And I love my RO. Well, let me tell you this. Where I live, I get 600 speed up and down. And they recently just gave you free up to 600. I don't get that. I test it all the time. I don't get anything close to that. But I've been paying for it for quite some time. And I complain and they do nothing and blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. I don't need all that. But that's the lowest tier you can buy. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting it, so I clearly don't need it. You should have a lower tier. They don't. They don't. Because then it would be really affordable. And people like me who get streaming, and like for instance, I have a Roku TV. I get Plex and Pluto and Roku TV and Google TV Free Play and all these free channels with tons of movies, tons of movies, and YouTube, by the way, on that TV. I have a Google Chromecast thing. I plug into my HDMI, thing in my bedroom, and same deal. I get all that free stuff, plus all the broadcast I get for free. I don't need all that. Because you guys remember when cable was king, and you got that package with 150 channels or 300 or whatever it was for you, and you watched 7 of them. It was ridiculous. Same here, Vicky. Love my Roku. Roku rocks. Yes, I love my Roku TV. Love it. And by the way, the Roku channel, pretty damn good, if you ask me. Oh my gosh, Dupa has given us gifted a membership. I wonder who got it. Maybe they'll visit that's for you, Dupa, the Kingdom of the Spiders, because we're talking about spiders and we're talking about Pervitine. 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. Something like that. Thank you, Tom Wolf in chat. Thank you. Is that called getting Paula Abduled? Kind of. It should be. Is Kelvin here? Did I see Kelvin? Oh, Kelvin got it. Awesome. Kelvin's a member. Big Newcastle United fan. Good man, though. Dr. T is on Roku TV. Kelvin got it. That's good. I think you might be able to watch Massacre at Central High on Roku. Oh, I'm watching that tonight. It's free. Let's see here if I can find that real quick. Massacre at Central High is really a good movie. It's a good movie. Oh, wait. Streaming free. It's on Tubi for free. It's on Plex for free. Oh, that's getting watched tonight. I have so much work to do tonight. It's not even funny. Oh God, I've got a million things to do. And all day to do them, let me tell you. And all day to do them. I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and it says, like the Reverend Al Green, about time for me to get up on out of here. You do not have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thanks for being with us. Tomorrow night, the Rocky... Wait. Yes, the Rocky Horror Picture Show will be the topic of our little program here. I hope you'll enjoy that. And then that was at the special request of our good friend Metal Maiden Vicky. So anyway, and with all that being said, I think the only thing left to say is, till next time, we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we're talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking